Hi there everybody, it's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from slimandstylish.com. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have a fancy fold flip twist card for you. Try getting all of that out in one go. This is a card that I made a few years ago, and there is a video on my channel for this card, but I've decided to refresh it using the Poinsettia Petals photopolymer stamp set. And I was looking forward to doing it because I quite like this stamp set. Hiya Colleen. Morning to you. Thanks for joining. Hiya Karen. Thank you for doing the album again. You're a star. Hiya Norma. Hope you're okay. Right, so the card today, it's 3D on top, so hopefully you can see that with the poinsettia. Hiya Cindy. Hope you're okay. And then when you open it, it opens like that. So it kind of twists out and back in. And I've created my own sort of DSP here with the Poinsettia petals. And then this just twists in, twists down and closes shut again. And I thought this could be two projects. This week I'll make the card, and next week I'll make a nice box for it to go in. Two birds, one stone. So thanks for joining. What you will need is you will need a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this is 8 inches by 10 3/4 of an inch, and I've done it so that it will fit both the US cardstock and ours, so we should all be able to get that size out. If you're in the UK, once you've finished it, you will get a slightly bigger lip at the bottom here. If you're in the US, it'll be slightly smaller. Okay. Hi Audrey, hope you're okay. So the Whisper White sheet, as I said, is 8 inches by 10 3/4 inches. All right. I've also got a piece of basic black cardstock, and I know on my post I said to bring a sheet of it. You don't need a sheet, you just need a 10-fold card. So here our 10-fold card is half a sheet of A4. So this is 10.5 centimetres. I think in the US yours will be just over 4 inches, but either way, both of the inserts will fit into either of our cards, okay? So this is half a sheet of A4 ready to be scored and folded. The little pieces that you will need, I've got this sheet here. This is 11 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And I have got 3 pieces of Whisper White cardstock. This is 4 inches by, I know I wrote it on my post, but I've forgotten. And I can't find my ruler. Let me just use my grid paper. 5 3/4 inches. So it's 4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. You want 3 of those. And then you want 4 little squares that are 2.5 inches each. Okay. It is quite simple. It's just the scoring that can get tricky. So, and it will open. And that's how it looks sort of from the side and the back. So it does have a little gap in it. But I quite like it. So for the scoring part, if we start off with the Whisper White cardstock, 8 inches by 10 3/4 inches, and I've got my scoring board. Okay, and I'm going to score on the 8-inch side first. Okay, and I'm scoring at 2 inches, 4 inches, but at the 4 inches I'm scoring lightly. I'm not going heavy there. I'm going heavy on the 2 and on the 6. Because this one here is more just an imprint in the middle so I can see it. Okay. I'm going to turn it round. And on the 10 3/4 inch side, I'm going to score it at 3 7/8 of an inch. So just, now I'm, Yes, I am. 3 7/8 of an inch. I've confused myself. 3 7/8 of an inch just there, and that's a heavy one. 5 3/8 of an inch there, and that's a light one. And then another heavy one over on 6 7/8 of an inch. Okay. So for anyone who's crafting along, not sure who is crafting, who's not, I've wrote them down here. So on the 8-inch side, you want to score at 2, 4 and 6. And the 10 3/4 inch side, you want to score it at 3 7/8 of an inch. I can't read my own handwriting. That's twice I've tried to make that a 5, and I can see it's a 3. You want to do 3 7/8 of an inch, 5 3/8 of an inch, 6 7/8 of an inch. And these ones in the middle is just a light imprint. Okay, you don't want to fold them as yet. And I realise working with Whisper White, it's genuinely really hard to see the score lines. And after the video is done, I will put a picture of this over on Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout. So come and join the group, and there's a photo album for each week for my lives, and these measurements will have a picture and it will be in there so you can craft along. Okay, so 8-inch side scoring at 2 inches and at 6 inches heavy and at 4 inches lightly. 10 3/4 inches, you want to score it at 3 7/8 of an inch and 6 6/8 of an inch. Oh no, 6 7/8 of an inch. I've done that wrong. No, I'm on the right line. I can't read it from the thing. 5 7/8, 5 3/8 and 6 7/8. Karen, I bet I'm really confusing you because I know you're crafting along with it. But there's, if you want to take a print screen of the screen, you've got the measurements there. Okay, while I've got this out, I'm also going to do my long sheet of basic black. So this one here was 11 and a, it should have been 11 inches. I haven't cut it down, so bear with me. Best laid plans and all. Okay, so this is 2 3/4 of an inch wide, and it's 11 inches long, and you want to score it, and I've got it again for you here, so you want to score it at 2 3/4 of an inch, 5 1/2 inches and 8 1/4. Really easy, that one. I'm going to go with the middle one first and make sure that's all nice and lined up, and fold that in half. Once you fold it in half, you want to fold both of these bits back. So it's like a mountain and a valley fold, and it creates a M when you look at it. Hiya Alison, hope you're okay, lovely to see you. So that bit there is what goes in the middle of the card along here. Okay. So I'm going to pop that to the side, and I'm going to go back to creating the insert. And that's with this bit here. I'm just going to pop that there if anyone is crafting along. So you need a steady hand now for the cutting. You want to cut out the 4 rectangles that are in the corner. I'm really hoping you can see the score lines. But on this bit, so on the narrower side, you want to make sure this is really straight. So if you struggle with getting a straight cut with scissors, I would recommend using your trimmer. But you want to cut straight up that score line. would be easier, I suppose, with a longer bladed pair of scissors, but I have this pair. Okay, and you want to do that on all of the corners. If you have our trimmer, it's dead easy to do. You line up the score mark at the top and at the bottom. Okay, take your cutting blade up to the next score mark, and there is a little sticky out bit there to let you know when you're there. Pick it up and drop it on the next one up to there. And then you just come along, pop in the 2 score marks again, and go to there. So it is quite simple on the trimmer, and it will just cut out the corner completely. But if you don't have the trimmer, you can happily do it by scissors. Just make sure you get the cut mark that's on this side perfectly straight, because that is actually going to form your matting on here. So you want it to look nice underneath. And I'm just going to cut this one up. And these are nice handy size pieces of Whisper White. We're not using them on this project, but they're very handy for sentiments and things like that, so don't get rid of them. Okay, so you've still got you've got 4 rectangles in the middle here, because you've got your score mark that's light down that middle and light down that middle. And then what you want to do, very scientific here with this one, is you want to fold the paper over completely. So you want to fold until this score mark, so you know we did a light imprint that's in the middle here, and we did a light imprint that's in the middle here. You want to fold until they line up as one. Okay, so keep going. Until both score marks line up so they're still straight. So there's my score mark. And then you just want to push that down, and you really want to burnish that quite heavily so you get a good fold. Okay, but hopefully you can see that my score mark and my score mark here have lined up so they're straight. And that's why you need the score marks in the middle, but only lightly. We're not going to be using them. And then while you've got the card in the same direction, you're going to do it again from this side. So I'm going to bring this side over completely, line it up so that this is straight, and fold it over. Okay, you should then, where this score mark and this score mark meet, it should be the corner of this cross here. So it should all come into the middle there. I'm wondering if you can probably see it better from that side. Is that clearer? But that line and that line is dead on that. Don't know how those that are crafting along are going. Hopefully all caught up. If anyone's crafting along and needs me to, oh, Karen's going good, I know she's crafting along, but if anyone else is, just tell me to stop if I'm going too quick. So now I'm going to turn it over and fold it very lightly in that direction, so that when I push these together, the whole card comes in. Okay. And then grab my bone folder and burnish those properly. Okay, so these two leaves here, where the cross is, come in, two great big arrows if you can picture it that way. You want to push the two edges in and bring it in together like that. As you're doing it, make sure it folds flat with that one. Okay, now my one has got, it must be the way I've scored it, it has got just a slight lip on there. That's not a problem, just straighten it up with the other one. The only problem you've got is if it's like a 3-inch gap, but just for sort of 2/8 of an inch, it's not a problem. Okay. And then if you've got your little concertina bit that we did earlier, just here, you can see now that that is going to hold on to this bit here, and that's what makes it pop out. Okay, and twist in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my piece of Whisper White cardstock that was 4 inches, and I said it was 5 7/8 of an inch, but if you haven't got it directly long, that's okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to fold up your card and you're going to use it as a mask. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a pencil and just draw around that on there so you know where to cut it out. And this is what's going to create here and here. So I'm using this stamp now from the Poinsettia Petals set. And my Memento ink. Now, I don't know whether you can see, the poinsettia I've put on the front is quite bright, and I quite liked that on the white card. But on the inside, I've made my poinsettia quite a deeper colour, and I've given it a really dark inside so that it goes quite nicely with the black matte. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're all very quiet today. Normally everyone's nattering along. Hello to anyone new that's joining us for the first time. Okay, so you want to stamp this quite a few times around the card. It's quite easy to actually do as a jigsaw, because the way the leaves point, I'm just going to pop a piece of scrap underneath that for when I go off the paper. The way the leaves point, you can quite nicely fit them in like that, so you don't get too much of a gap. And keep filling your paper until it's all completely covered. What I've actually done is I've already done 2 sheets of this, so you don't have to sit and watch me colour in all of the poinsettias. So I'm just going to show you how I coloured it, and then I'm going to use my DSP pieces that I've made myself. So the blends that I used for this are light black. Hi Karen, hope you're okay. Light basic black, dark smoky slate, dark cinnamon cider, dark cherry cobbler, and then the dark and light real red. Oh, hi Belinda, thank you. I like fun folds. I always think they're really interesting. So they're like my fallback cards because I always enjoy playing with those. So what I'm going to do first of all is I've used the dark smoky slate and I've gone around the poinsettia, around the outside. So I'm not in, I'm outside of the lines. And I find that this gives the flowers quite a nice shadow and makes them look sort of 3D. They pop off the page. Usually I play with a light colour, so I'd either play with light smoky slate, light petal pink, light soft seafoam. They normally work really well. But because I wanted this poinsettia to take a darker colour on the inside, I went a lot darker and went for the dark smoky slate. Okay. Next up I took the basic black, and this stamp has loads of shading on it. Hopefully you can see around the middle there's lots of different shading. I've just exaggerated it with my blend. So wherever Stampin' Up have given us the shade, I have gone over it and just made it go longer. And just really exaggerated it so it's got a much darker middle. Okay, so it's not much, it is just exaggerating that shaded bit. And then cinnamon cider, and I'm loving cinnamon cider mixed with red at the moment because it just makes it really deep and warm. So I'm going over the basic black, but as you can see I'm just going a bit further than the black. And I'm going in lines back and forth over it so that I spread the dark black colour out when I blend it. They don't all have to be identical because flowers rarely are, but I kind of don't like that. Okay, dark real red next, and I've gone around the inside of the petals. I was going to say around the outside, but that was the smoky slate, up until where it meets with the black and cinnamon cider, so that each petal is defined. And this is why I'm only doing one. It took me some time to do both of the sheets, and I thought you don't want to be sitting watching me do that, because you come for the fancy fold card, not to watch me blend everything in. But you can't not blend this stamp set, it's gorgeous. Okay, and then once I've done that bit, I'm using the Cherry Cobbler Dark, and I'm just going to use the bullet tip to go around the berries. I get worried using the nice brush tip around the berries because I just think I'm going to cover it. And then once I've done that, I'm going to use the brush tip over the basic black, over the cinnamon cider, going outwards, going quite far on the deeper leaves, and then I'm staying quite close to home on the shorter leaves. But hopefully you can see there's now like a real texture underneath where the cinnamon cider was. And then finally the light real red, and I'm just going to blend it all together. And then keep blending over where the gap is between the Cherry Cobbler and the real red, and it will all simp into each other and you'll get your backgrounds like that. Okay, so as I said, you want to use this as a template for where to cut. So I'm just going to make sure it's lined up. There is, I hope you can see, there is a really slight gap between the two. So just make sure that's lined up and then cut through. So what have we all been up to this weekend? I know those in America have still got another day left. I was supposed to be blogging, because I find making things really easy. As a demonstrator, I thoroughly enjoy making the craft bits because that's obviously my love. And then when it comes to blogging, I'm really lazy. And it's like the worst part of it. I'm okay filming, I'm okay photographing and popping stuff on my Instagram and Facebook, but when it actually comes to writing my long blog posts, I struggle. So yesterday was it was a strict sit at this table and type your blog posts up, and I want to tell you I did it, but I also want to tell you that I've now a subscriber of Disney Plus, and I have the Disney Plus streaming service, and I've watched Frozen 2, so you can tell how well my blogging did. Okay, so once you've got your two pieces, they will then fit just in there quite nicely, and hopefully you can see that I have got a very slight white border on either side. And so I'm just going to take my trimmer and just trim a slight bit off here so I can have the slight white border on the bottom as well. But instead of actually measuring this, by doing it cut from your insert, it's going to fit exactly this one. It's going to be hard if you're bulk making to do that. But I think I would rather have them fit each one perfectly than bulk make a load and have them go a little bit wrong. Okay. So for these, they're just going to stick in there, and it's easier to stick them in before you pop on your front. So once you've put this on, it's a little bit restricting then to stick these in. So I would recommend sticking these in now. If you're crafting along and thinking that later on you're going to decorate and make your own DSP and stick it in, you can do that. I just find it easier doing it this way. And in the catalogue there is actually Poinsettia DSP, so you could use that. I like making my own sometimes. I think it's fun. Hi honeybee, hope you're okay. Oh, Audrey. I'll have to send you an actual like shopping list pad, won't I? She says with her little devil horns on. Oh, thanks, Karen. I haven't decorated the front yet, but this poinsettia is a little bit brighter with the red. Personally, I like it with the dark in, because as they turn from green to red, they always go like a darker red, don't they, than a bright red. But there we go. So I'm just going to stick that one in. And I'm sticking it with the Tombow just because then you can manoeuvre it. There's a lot more flexibility with that. There we go. Oh, Audrey, you're just like me. I do that. Post-it notes all over the catalogue. Oh, that's good, honeybee. Right. So once you've done that, we're now onto this section. So I'm going to pop this to the side. And I have my 4, and I know I have them because I showed them you at the start to say I have them. My 4 Whisper White pieces that are cut at 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Okay, the stamps I'm using is May Magic and Wonder Bloom This Holiday, because I quite like that. And there's also Warm Wishes From Our Home to Yours. So I'm using those two. And I was quite excited when I opened the set, because I do realise it's a two-pack stamp set. So I do realise they couldn't put images of 2 of these sets on here and have them at the right size. But I thought, oh, that's quite small, really, when you look at the Poinsettia. It's not. It's nice and big with gorgeous, gorgeous fonts. So I was really excited when I opened the set and found that the sentiments were nice and big. That big to be precise. So they fit quite nice on the 2.5 inch square. So grab my ink pad back out. Yeah, that's a great idea, Cindy. Then you've got one for each time. I was thinking of doing a I've been looking at it for ages and thinking, oh, what am I going to do with it? Once you've used it once, you will never use it again. Don't get it. And then I thought, you know what, I really want it. I like it. So I bought the hedgehog that's in the annual catalogue. Walk in the Woods. Really cute. It's got the toadstools with it as well. And I was playing with it this morning and I thought I could make my card with the hedgehog in and have the hedgehog popping out. But I do like these poinsettias, so pop that on as well. But you could do them for any occasion. The font on these ones is just so cute. So there's 2 ways you can do the next bit. So they're these little berry bits. And they also have the insert, so you can do 2-step stamping where you stamp this on the page, stamp this into a different colour ink and then stamp it on top. Because I got all my blends out, I just blended it, but it's up to you which way you go. So I've just got the outline to blend it, but like I said, it's your choice. I know a few people, strange to me, don't have blends, so you can use that to do the infill then. And when I say strange to me, it's because I use my blends on every card. So because these are going on the outside too, I'm matching up the way I'm putting the stamp on. And then what I did with the middle bit was I made it like a bridge, sort of where it goes up and down. I thought means that pops out. That I quite liked that sort of look on it. So the middle 2 pieces I put together so that when I did the stamp on the one side, I could try and position the stamp like that on the other side. You could do it using proper mirror stamping, the technique I did the other week. That would work, but I found this just quite easy as well. kind of went up and down. And then, like I said, because I had my blends out, I just grabbed my dark mango medley bullet tip, otherwise I'm going to be in a mess. Just coloured all of those in. I forgot to say when I did my poinsettia that went in the middle, I coloured the little berries in the middle with dark mango medley as well. I got to that stage, didn't I? I didn't do the middle bit yet, but yeah, I just did dark mango medley in that. I thought being berries, they should really be red, but because the majority of the card was done in red, I thought it was nice in the middle to have a colour that broke it up. And I've played with yellow quite a bit recently because I did the Box of Sunshine kit this week, and then I also played with the Simply Citrus kit. Got a video coming out for that soon, and that was all yellows, so I feel like I'm definitely in a yellow mood. And then just those two. Okay, again I'm going to be using my Tombow just so that when I put these on I can move them if I pop them in the wrong place. And the way you want to do this is you want to have it on your desk like a W. If you have it as an M, you've got it the wrong way. You want it as a W, so that the middle bit here pops out. Okay. Just position that on. Gone quiet because I'm concentrating. You know what I'm like, I'd stick these on the wrong way around. We all know I'd do it. And then it's really up to you. You could decorate these by popping in like some rhinestones or some embellishments, pop some sequins in, or I'm sure you've probably seen me do it before, there's a tip with a fine tip glue gun and you can pop them on the berries and it'll make the berries look like they shine. I didn't do it because I honestly think that I think there's enough going on in the card. But if you wanted to, if you've used slightly more of a subtle background and you wanted this to stand out, then yeah, you could wink and Stella these and pop some fine tip glue pen on and they'll shimmer lovely. Okay, so I'm going to bring my insert in now and I'm going to stick this down. So what you do with this bit is you want to mirror it up so it's in the middle. Okay, so take it down so that it is in directly. Oh no, before you do that, pause. You want to tap these bits in. So just not by much, probably about 1 centimetre. But if you see, you want it. If I'd have just stuck that on there, you'd have had a little bit of it showing. You don't really want that much showing. You want a little bit at the top but not at the bottom, so you just want to tab it in. Okay, kind of like that. Right. And then once you've done that, you can then line this up. So that's dead in the middle, and this is in the middle of the flaps. And you want to fold this one in. Using your Tombow, you want to pop your glue. Now where your half part is, so you remember we scored lightly across there, so this is in half. You just want to put the Tombow on the top bit. So that's my score mark. The Tombow is not going to pass that. You want to keep it up this part. And you want to make sure that it definitely does not pass that crease. So I'm just going to pop it there like that. Fold that out and stick it down. The reason you don't want it to touch that crease is you want it to be loose on opposite sides. So on this one you can see we're going to stick it down the bottom. If you had it stuck completely, you wouldn't be able to close it. So you want it so it's got that flexibility so that it closes into one. Alright, so once you've done that side, you want to fold this side in. And as I've just said, you want to do the bottom. So you can do the top of this and the bottom of this, but you just want them to be opposite sides. So I've done the top, I'm going to do the bottom. And stick that down. Okay, so when that comes together now, it will fold together and fold down. Now that sticks out, but don't worry because it won't stick out on your card. Okay? It'll open nicely like that, but when you pop it in the card, because the card is actually deeper, you're not going to see that at all. So don't worry about that. Right, so my basic black cardstock now, I've cut it in half. I just need to score it so that I can turn it into a 10-fold card. So I'm just going to pop it in my scoring tool. Scoring. The amount of times I grab the trimmer section rather than the scoring section and end up with my card in 2 pieces. Okay, so when you pop this in your card, like I said, you're not going to have any bits stick out. And it will open quite nicely like that. Okay, so what you want to do to get it stuck in is you want to use your Tombow again. And you want to go around the card and you want to stick this in and line it up with the crease. Okay, you don't want to go over the crease, you want to line it up, so you want to go all the way up to the crease. Line it up, make sure it's straight, and I'm just going to have to pick it up off the table for a second just so I can see that I'm getting it aligned straight. Okay. Once you've done that, you want to put the glue on this side, on the opposite side. Would you believe this is a new Tombow bar? Keeps getting gunged up at the end, so I still keep having to shake it. And then you want to just close your card down to pick it up Don't wait too long, because you want to then pick it up and straighten this bit. Okay. And then just give that a few seconds to dry. That way round is going to be the right way. And there's the inside of your card. Quite simple when you know how. Right, for the top we've got that final piece that was the 4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, so it will just sit nicely on the card and give you a slight bit of a frame. If you're in America and your cardstock is slightly smaller, it should finish where the white finishes, okay? If that's the case, just chop off sort of 1/2 inch off this until you get it, so that you've just got a little bit of a frame. And then I'm just going to pop this onto the card. Make sure you're popping it on the front. You don't want to go to the work of decorating the front and then open it and find the inside is upside down. Ask me how I know. I know. Okay, so then it's just decorating the front. The inside's completely done now. Oh, it's a bit hard to open it with just one hand, it's a bit too big. So I have already stamped, coloured and cut my pieces for the front. I thought it would be easier than seeing you watching me blend again and fussy cut. So there are dies as well, but I just thought this would be easier. I did 4 leaves, 2 of the bigger flowers, 2 of the medium flowers and 2 of the little flowers. And just as an idea, when I actually came to colour them, let me just grab a scrap piece of cardstock. So when I came to colour these in, I'm just going to use the small one and the leaf to show you how I did these ones, because these were coloured slightly different to the middle ones. So I stamp the leaf down. And the leaf, by the way, is really simple because it's got lots of gorgeous shading on the side. So and there's the little one. And I did exactly the same with all the sizes so that they're all the same colouring and the same sort of shading. So for the leaves I used just Jade Light and Dark. And where there was any shading, I coloured the whole section in. Down the middle and then underneath every single one of these lines with the dark. Like that. And then I just went over the whole leaf, including the dark bits, with the light just Jade and blended it all in. So that was really simple, that took seconds to do the leaves. Okay. And so they all look like that. For the flowers, I only used dark and light real red and the mango medley. So I did the mango medley for the berries. like that. And then with the dark real red around the outside of the petals, up the middle, and I did all the veins, and then just use the light real red to blend it all in together. So that's how I did the petals all the way around. And that's why none of these have got that shading colour on. So to build them up, I want to do 3 big, medium, little, big, medium, little. And I've got my dimensionals, and I also have my mini dimensionals. So what I did was I popped the mini dimensional in there and popped this one on top, and I just popped it where there was gaps so that all of the petals, there's no holes. See, like that? Popped another dimensional on top, and then pop this little one on top, so again these petals go through the gaps of the ones before. Push down, and then I grabbed my bone folder and I just went around all the flowers like that. Just gave it a little bit of a curl, all of them together, so that when they go on the card they're going to stick sort of a bit more 3D. So I'm going to do the same for this one. Okay, and again use my bone folder to curl around the and I mean, you can be as rough as you like with that to get them curved. You can have them well in. I've just done them so they're just a little bit, but it's up to you. When it comes to sticking them on my card, I used our normal dimensionals and pop one of these on the bottom of each. Pop one at the top. And then when it comes to this one, I intertwined the leaves a little bit so that they fit in together. Like that. And then finally, couple of glue dots. Now the leaves here have a very prolonged end on this side and very stubby on this side, so I popped the glue dot on the prolonged end like that, and then I just fed them underneath until I was happy with where they were. I think I've frozen. Have I frozen? Maybe there's just a lag. Yeah, move my hands forward, my hands moved. I thought I'd frozen. It's really distracting, by the way, to it's always good fun. I like reading all your comments, so I have my iPad just there so I can read all your comments and chat along with you. But at the same time, I can see my hands moving and I pay more attention to what I'm doing over there 2 seconds ago than I do what I'm doing here. So that's how I put my poinsettia together. And then we've got this gorgeous thick gold twine, and this is in the double pack with the shaded spruce ribbon from the mini catalogue. And I just popped it into a bow And it's really nice this because you can twist it whichever way you want. So if you're someone who struggles with making bows, you can just pull this where you want it and it sticks where you pull it. It's quite stiff. So I'm just going to stick a glue dot on the back of that, which is now stuck to my nail as well. There's my paper piercer. Let's do this properly, because I want it to be stuck to the ribbon, not to me. And I've just popped that between the flower, so you can't see the knot, but you can just see a little bit of the twine. Okay, so it's just there. Just thought it added a little bit of a detail. And then the embellishments I used to finish were the Artistry Blooms adhesive back sequins and the In Colour enamel dots. So I used the Just Jade of those because we've got Just Jade leaves. So I'm just going to grab 3 off there. 1 at the bottom. 1 at the top. And 1 in the middle. And then 3 of the larger sequins, 1 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and 1 in the middle. And that's the card finished. So hopefully you liked it. And you've had no problems crafting along. If you are crafting along at a later time, don't forget to come and join Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout over on Facebook, because I will have all the score bits and everything as a photograph in there with the final pictures of the project. I also have albums where you can add the pictures of what you've made, because I'd love to see how you've done it and what stamp set you've used. If you are watching and you like these stamp sets and you would like to purchase them and have a go yourself, you can get them from slimandstylish.com. If you go up to the header and click on buy, you can get any of the products there from my website. And I'll see you again at 4 o'clock next Sunday, where I'm already got in my head that I think I'm going to do a box to put this in, because I've got an envelope here actually. Because I've used so many dimensionals on the front, I think, am I going to be squishing it to fit it in there? Oh, it does fit, it does. But it's tight, and if you, actually I'm doing that silly, you should do it that way, and then you're not going to be taking your flowers off, are you? That's clever. Ah, ha, ha. So it does fit in a normal envelope. That will fit. But I've kind of got it in my head that I want to do a box. So I'm going to do a box for a card next week. Just to pre-warn you. Until next week when you turn on, I'm doing something completely different because I changed my mind 5 minutes before the live. So thanks for joining me. Hopefully I will see you all again soon. If you have liked the video, can you please give me a little thumbs up? And have a good week. Cheers everybody. Bye.